Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a while since I've made a recorded video, and there's just been a lot going on in the past couple months, mainly moving. Matt and I moved to an actual house. We moved out of our condo, and we are now about 20 minutes away from where we used to be, so we're still local, but we have much more room. And now I have my own personal space that has actual walls and a door. So I can film whenever I want, not just when he's away at work. So that's nice. And I also have natural light, which is something that I did not have at the condo. And it's been chaos, but it's been also just fabulous having more space. And now we are making our way through the process of selling our condo, and hopefully all goes well on that front. But the twins are settling in well, and yeah, I just thought I would kind of give you a quick update on that, especially if you saw the most recent Three Girls, One Deck, or rather One Guest episode with Laura from Aquamarine 18, and I was in a new space. And I think that's pretty much the first time I filmed YouTube here in my very own personal space. And it's been fantastic. I can't even describe how much it means to me to finally have a room that I can truly call my own, where I can decorate it how I want, and that things are in places that make sense, as opposed to just being shoved in places where there was space. It's been awesome. That was just my little update, and I thought I would share some of the decks that I've acquired in that time that I do not believe I have shared with you. And I thought I would just kind of combine and make this into a VR to the hashtag Good Mood Decks from Maureen over at Waves of Your Soul. So yeah, I thought I would feed two birds with one scone and just show you what is new to my deck library, as well as which ones I would consider good mood decks. There is that distinction for me between a good mood deck versus a comfort deck. So like a comfort deck is one that when I use it, I feel soothed, and I feel like it's giving me a hug and some encouragement. When I'm maybe feeling overwhelmed or feeling, a little depressed or some ennui. Whereas I feel like a good mood deck just, I don't know, it just gives me a more energetic vibe. It's for when I'm maybe hangry, or just, annoyed and pissed and want to throat punch someone. I will then pull out one of these decks, perhaps, and it'll just cheer me up, put a smile on my face, maybe make me giggle, that kind of thing. And speaking of good mood, this reading cloth right here instantly puts me in a fantastic mood, and I have been using it nonstop. And this is from the lovely Wendy over at Occult Compass Tarot. Thank you, Wendy. I just love it so much. It's perfect. And she also made me a few tarot bags, and they are also perfect. So, okay. Well, first let me show you. I will try to somewhat go in order of when I acquired these decks, and then I will specify which ones I would consider a good mood deck. So the first deck is the Millennium Thoth Tarot, and this is by Renata Lechner. I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name. You would know this artist from other decks. She has a particular style, which is this kind of, photo manipulation, which typically is not my tarot aesthetic, but this one I would classify as a feel-good deck for sure. And the reason is, so here are the backs. I got this because I've mentioned before on my channel that I am dedicating this year to learning more about the Thoth. And so I have the OG with Lady Frida Harris's artwork, and I'm warming up to it, but it's okay. But at a certain point, the Thoth learning was kind of losing steam, and I just wasn't being really pulled in by that artwork. And then I saw Levi from Masculine Intuition Readings. He was showing this deck, and he uses it on his Instagram posts and things like that. And this is a deck that I had seen before. I had seen this deck when it first came out, and I was drawn to it then. I was like, wow, I actually kind of like that. It's not normally an aesthetic that I would, but it was the first time where I was like, oh wow, this is so Thothy. It's like a Thoth clone, or like a Thoth copy, but make it cosplay, right? But I didn't end up getting it because I'm like, oh, but I don't think Thoth is for me. I'm just not gonna. But here I am again, being tempted, and yeah, when Levi was showing it on his channel, I'm just like, I need to get this deck. I just need to bite the bullet because I think that this will help me kind of reinvigorate my learning for the Thoth. It would help if I actually showed you some of the images while I'm talking. So I just think I think it's really beautiful, actually. I mean, it's not perfect, for sure, but this is a feel-good deck because, as I mentioned, it's like cosplay, and I love anything that feels cosplay because it holds kind of nostalgia, like nostalgic memories of my being at the Renaissance Fair, with Matt, which we go to every year, or going to Awesome Con, which is Washington, D.C.'s version of Comic Con, and just seeing everyone letting their freak flag fly with their awesome costumes and just geeking out on, whatever fandom that they're immersed in. And so this is a deck that for me, oh, by the way, hello. All these men, yeah, they're all like models. The men and women are, yes, straight-sized models. Tarot So White, yeah, absolutely. And that is actually this artist that's just their aesthetic. Wow, his tits are bigger than mine. Like these guys, I feel like they just subsist off of like chicken and broccoli, and they're hitting the gym like twice a day and chugging like creatine and protein and branched chain amino acids and all the stuff to look that shredded. But anyway, yeah, so there are missed opportunities here for sure, but it makes me happy because it is definitely like, it's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's like cosplay. It's again that kind of, it feels like that kitschy fantasy cover of the novel that I'd be reading in high school or something like that. And not only that, but this deck is, it feels like the hardcore purists of Thoth and Crowley himself would probably have a conniption over a deck like this, which makes me love it even more, quite frankly. So it is just, it's very OTT. Yeah, he's hot. It's very OTT, and that's what I love about it. Now, I do have still my kind of guideline in place for 2022 that I am only going to use the decks that I purchased in 2021. And any deck that I buy in 2022, I cannot use. However, I have definitely been breaking that rule. And I've been breaking that rule by basically, telling myself and others that, well, these are gifts to myself. It was my birthday in June, and, I treated myself to these decks, and hence I can use them. So that has been my way of working around that guideline. So I don't know if I should just say, oh, fuck it, or still try to adhere to that guideline. I've liked having that kind of check-in process of, okay, if you buy this deck, Julie, you know that you're going to have to hold off on it and you're not going to be able to use it. Can you put it on the wish list and not buy it till next year? Will you survive? And there have been many, many decks this year that I have put on my retail temptation and have held off on. So I'm very proud of myself in that respect. And I feel like the Millennium Thoth is part of my study, so that doesn't count. And then this one is the Hush Tarot by Jeremy Hush. This one I bought off of Diane Jarecki over at the Magical Haven on YouTube. She was culling her collection, and she had an extra copy of this. And so she had decks up for sale, and it was like $15 including shipping. And I was just like, oh, well, that's a steal, I've been curious about this deck for a while, and so I thought, why not? I mean, it's $15 with shipping, Anyway, so I will say I've already gone ahead and modified this. And I'm liking it much better now that it is modified. Maybe I should zoom in a little more. And the images make more sense to me. So here you can see that I think this was once the Hermit, and I made it into the wheel. So it's been working a lot better for me, having been modified. And I was planning on actually doing a separate video where I talk about which cards that I changed, what they originally were and what I changed them to. So if you're interested in that, let me know, or I'll just still do it anyway, because I know that this is a deck that people are interested in, and but also feel that maybe the imagery doesn't quite work for them. So if you're up for modifying, this might be an option. But now that I have modified, this just reads so much better for me. Now, this is not what I would call a good mood deck, but I wouldn't call it like a buzzkill deck either. I know that a lot of people use this for shadow work, but funny enough, and I thought that would be kind of similar for me, because I do have I have very uncomfortable and uneasy feelings about death. It is a fear, and it can lead to some very high anxiety. So I thought that this maybe would be a deck that could help me become a little more desensitized by the idea. But actually, it just hasn't been working out that way at all. This next book and deck that I received, they were lovely gifts. Thank you so much, dear friend. This is the African Goddess Initiation, Sacred Rituals for Self-Love, Prosperity, and Joy by Abiola Abrams. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And then we have, by the same creator, the African Goddess Rising Oracle. So I've been curious about this deck too. And I held off for the longest time because, as you know, my relationship with Oracle is, it's complicated. Anyway, but, I remember that Jude's was very much in love with this deck. Jude's from I Am Nouille. She was talking about it during our casual convo chat, and it just reignited my interest. And then, what do you know? It was gifted to me by my tarot fairy librarian godmother. And it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. And I'm looking forward to working more with this deck. I've only done one pull from the deck, and it was pretty, this was the card that I pulled, actually. The very first card. It was this one, Self-Sabotage. And yeah, I was like, okay, I heard you. I get it. I know. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call this a feel-good deck necessarily either, at least just from that one reading. However, the imagery is beautiful, so beautiful. Yeah, so I look forward to getting to know this deck better. It's just all the bright colors. That is definitely my aesthetic. Next deck that I recently acquired is the Soul Cats Tarot by Lisa Robertson, art by Adam Ohlers. And this was a lovely gift from Jason over at Tarot by the Pines. Thank you so much again, Jason. This was such a lovely surprise. And this artist, well, first of all, I'm familiar with Lisa Robertson. I know that she is a talented deck guidebook writer, and she has written guidebooks for several decks. And so that's cool. And then Adam Ohlers is the artist for the Oak, Ash, and Thorn Tarot and the Smoke, Ash, and Embers Tarot. Yes. So I really just enjoy his artwork so much. I knew this deck existed, but I did not get it for myself, and this probably would have been a deck that, I was tempted, but I ultimately didn't because I was like, Julie, have you not learned your lesson about cat decks or just animal themed decks? Have you not learned, even though, you want a deck by this artist? So I didn't. But now that I have this, I am excited to see how I get along with it. I mean, the art is just so awesome. I really love Adam Ohlers' art style and just the color palette. at just how expressive the cats are. So as you can see, these are still in order because I haven't used them yet. I'm going backwards. Oh, it's because I'm not doing it wrong, but you would think that I've never done a video before. So we're just gonna start mixing them up now as we look, but they're beautiful. I have already, flipped through the deck anyway, so it's fine. And of course the guidebook has like the full color reprint of each of the images. Now I will say on first look that once again, the tuxedo cat is being heavily shafted. I don't know if there are any tuxedo cats actually in this deck at all. So that is a gripe. But then you get cards like this and you can't stay mad. So anyway, I will report back on this deck once I've had some like this is some effed up shit right here. Like, look at this. Look at the pool of blood. I mean, that's intense. Anyway, so I will look forward to learning more about this deck, like learning about why some of these cats have wings and all that. So thank you again, Jason. So these last two decks that are new to my collection are definitely feel-good decks. And I, once again, gifted them to myself, and so I have been using them because how can I not? So, okay, the first one. So this is another beautiful Wendy bag. Now this was originally for my He-Man She-Ra Majors Only deck that I had created, gosh, I don't know how long ago. And it was just using like blank cards and, getting screen grabs and Mod Podging the images onto the cards. And so this bag was originally for that deck because, I mean, come on, look at the details here. The OG Masters of the Universe colors. So, however, I thought that because this deck inside fit this bag, I just felt like this bag needed to go with this deck, which is the Masters of the Universe Tarot by Jeremy Ennis. And I had been following Jeremy's work on this deck ever since I realized he was creating images. And I didn't get the memo that he had some copies. And it wasn't until I saw a very recent post in Indie Deck Review that I realized, he found a printer. Like, I never got that memo. He found a printer and he, was distributing copies. Anyway, I contacted him to see if he had any more available because I think at that time it was out of print. And I think he decided at the last minute, because of the interest that was kind of ignited by the Indie Deck Review post, he decided to do another quick print run. So, of course, I jumped on that. Now, I will say, what does not put me in a good mood is the fact that I had asked him point blank, like, did you fix the typo in the Queen of Shields? And he said yes. So I'm like, cool, okay. And guess what? the typo was still there. Not only was that typo still there, it was Queen of Shides instead of Queen of Shields. But then there was also another error in the High Sorceress, aka the High Priestess, where the the last S of Sorceress was missing. So that was a very disappointing experience. And basically what I've done is I have gone through, because you know me, typos like that, come on. I think that especially when people have pointed out these things in the past and they still go uncorrected and then they're being sold, that doesn't sit well with me. So I actually went in and just white out all the titles and rewrote them myself to reflect correct spelling. And I could have done it for just the two, but again, you know me. I needed to do that for all of them so that the handwriting looked somewhat consistent. So it's not my best work, but it'll do. I'm just happy that the typos are fixed. And, you know, despite the disappointing interaction there, I'm not letting that spoil me, or, you know, spoil my feelings about this deck, because this is such a good mood deck. I am all about the Masters of the Universe, She-Ra and He-Man, and this is just everything to me. This is just everything. I love how he has mixed the two together. So you have the various characters in one image. And what I think is great about the way this deck was created, not only do I like Jeremy Ennis's very sketch-like raw art style, but I love the fact that he just kind of mixed the characters from the two worlds together. He mixed them together without any rhyme or reason, and just put them in the images and then made it an RWS clone, you know? So, like, for instance, you know, Evil Lynn here, would I characterize her as a Page of Wands? Like, Evil Lynn? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, you know, some of these choices, like, if I were to go that deep, I would say, no, I would not have picked that character for that particular archetype. However, I can overlook that, and I just don't care, because he has just because he has mixed the different characters together without there being any kind of reliance on specific episode plot arcs, I am able to overlook all that and just read this as an RWS clone in the style of Masters of the Universe. You know, so I think that's why this really works for me. And I just love everything about it. I really do. Like, so this was originally the High Sorceress, and I just renamed it the High Priestess. But like, this makes sense, right? The Sorceress as the High Priestess, High Sorceress. Abso-effing-lutely. You know, this dude as the Hierophant, no, I don't know. You know, it's just, but I really think he did an excellent job. And it just is so nostalgic of my childhood. And I even love the card size. It is smaller. It's like Fournier sized, and it shuffles really well. Like, okay, so here's the original Queen of Shides, and it is now corrected to the Queen of Shields, and it's Catra. And like, I feel like many people, if you know the OG show of Catra, would maybe question this being Queen of Shields. And again, like, if I were to go that deep, sure, yeah, I probably would not have chosen her for Queen of Shields, but I don't effing care. I love this anyway. Next feel good deck is the Blythe Tarot, and this is from Jasmine. Oh crap, what's her last name? Her first name is Jasmine. Her Etsy shop is Sleep Forever, and this is a deck that she created all on her own using digital collage with Blythe dolls. I am a doll collector. I love Blythe dolls and pull-up dolls and just dolls and figurines and, you know, tchotchkes, all those fun things. And so this was just, this is a beautiful pairing of the two passions that I have, tarot and Blythe dolls. Now, some people do find these dolls creepy. Whatevs. If you can't handle it, then, you know, maybe you want to fast forward a little bit. But this is a feel-good deck because, yes, it is an RWS clone, but she has replaced, you know, the figures with Blythe dolls. And thank you to Meg from Rose Honey Ritual, my partner in Blythe Crime, for alerting me that this deck actually existed. So I love it so much. Oh my gosh. So as you can see, the background is very much Pixie's work, but then you have Blythe dolls that are the central figure. And I really do think she did a great job with this. It's just, I love it. It just makes me so happy. It puts me in such a great mood. I just love the costumes, and, you know, she, for the most part, she really did well with the doll's posture. Like, look at her eye chips. Isn't that freaking amazing? It's just cuteness, aggression, in my opinion. And here's the Queen of Pentacles. Like, you've got the little bunny here. Anyway, I will say the only gripe I have about this is that she does have her shop name on each and every image, and some instances are more pronounced than others, which can be distracting. But again, I am not going to let that spoil my mood, because this deck is just everything to me. It really is. Yeah. Like, look at that. Oh, I just can't even. This one looks like one that I have, actually. Like, her face stock is similar. The hairstyle is also similar. Mine's a little more curly, but yeah, I just love seeing all the different dolls and how she poses them for each image. So this one, the posture's a little odd, but like, look at that sun. Look at the eye chips on that sun. Wow. Anyway, okay. So this would be definitely a good mood deck. Now we're going to round out this VR, which I know I did this VR in a very bass-backward kind of roundabout, inconsistent way, but it is what it is. We're just going to go with it. So the last two decks that I'm going to show that are not new, you've seen them before on my channel, that I classify as feel-good decks. The one is the Tarot de la Nuit, and this is very much in the same vein. Oops, sorry, I keep hitting the mount here. This is very much in the same vein of the Millennium Thoth. You know, it's that cosplay photorealism that I never, in my wildest dreams, would have thought I would enjoy, but I do. Just the references, like here, Jon Snow and Ghost from Game of Thrones. At least that's what I think. you know. You know, it's, again, like all straight size models, you know, and all white, yes, yes. And it's just, like, look at her. Oh my gosh. It's, some images are very lovely, others, you know, like I really love this, this image of the Ten of Swords, this particular interpretation. He almost reminds me of Loki, you know, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, rather. But yeah, it's just very, again, cosplay fantasy-esque, really kitschy, but in like the best way possible. And I just get so many of these pop culture references, or just, yeah, kind of like movie associations or things like that. And it just, that makes me happy. Like this chick, she reminds me of Florence Pugh, that actress Florence Pugh, who I adore. I love her. Okay, I'm going to shut up about this deck and move on to the very last one. And that is the Notorious JBG Tarot Mini. This is the deck that I designed using license-free images from Jasmine Beckett Griffith. And this deck makes me happy because I love Jasmine's artwork. I could look at it all day. And so I think you can see a running theme here that I like. I like cute and creepy. I like, you know, figures that look kind of doll-like. Like some would characterize this as like cute and creepy. I don't know that maybe I would. I don't know. I just like this art style. And so it just makes me happy that I have a tarot deck based on JBG's artwork that resonates with me, that works for me, because I chose the images. So this is linen. Also puts me in a fabulous mood. Linen just puts me in like the best mood. So I'm just all around always in a pretty good mood, you know, when I pull out this deck. Now, are these the only good mood decks that I have? Absolutely not. I have like the Everyday Witch, I would classify as another good mood deck, which you have seen ad nauseum. So I'm not going to show that, but you know, that's like one of my OGs, so that goes without saying. And I'm sure there are others, but this video has gone on for long enough. So I hope you enjoyed, and until the next time, much love and take care.